Okay guys, it's Thursday and I'm back with an update. So let me start by telling you what has been going on in the last 12 hours. So in the last video I told you guys how great my follicles was growing and how much pressure it was giving me, including a little pain and even sometimes making it hard to walk. Well, yesterday it had gotten so worse till I was really barely able to walk. And I went home and took a nice warm bath, and I went to bed early. I was due to go. Matter of fact, I didn't even do my exercise yesterday, which I normally do when I came home from work, but I couldn't do it yesterday. That's just how much pain I was in. I was supposed to be at my RE doctor this morning for a follow-up ultrasound and blood test, and my appointment was scheduled for 6:30. Unfortunately, my cell phone went off in the middle of the night, so my alarm didn't go off. I didn't even get up till 6:30. So when I got up, I started rushing, trying to get dressed and make sure I hurry up and get out this house and try to get to that clinic as quickly as possible. I wasn't really worried about going to my appointment late. I was more worried about getting to work late because I set my appointment times so that I can get to work on time. And I knew that leaving as late as I did, I was not going to make it to work on time. But it wasn't until I bent over to put my shoes on that I noticed a difference in my body. Like, I remember before I went to bed how much pain I was in, and I didn't take any pain medicine or anything. I just laid down and went to sleep. I had did all that running around this morning trying to hurry up and get out the house, and I noticed I was not in 1 ounce of pain. Like, no pain at all. I'm like, something ain't right. And so I started standing up, bending down, because it really hurts when I sit and walk, and when I bend over, I'm still not feeling absolutely nothing. And I'm like, okay. I started pressing into my stomach because I was feeling a little bloated the last couple of days. I wasn't even feeling the bloatness. I'm like, okay. I hope I didn't ovulate, So it's a nice little drive from where I live to my RE, like a 45-minute drive. And on my drive there, it wasn't until I got halfway there when I started feeling just a little bit of discomfort. I can't even call it pain because it wasn't even pain. It was more like soreness, like the feeling you will feel after you ovulate, like a soreness. And all I'm thinking to myself is, Lord, please don't let me have ovulated. Please don't let me have ovulated, because the whole purpose of taking the Ganarex, is that how you pronounce it? I'm not even sure. But the whole purpose of taking that medication is to stop me from ovulating on my own. So when I got to the clinic, I started telling the nurse as we was walking to the ultrasound room, I said, I'm not going to lie, I woke up this morning feeling strange. And she said, what you mean? I said, I didn't have the same feeling I've been feeling the last few days. I said, I'm almost thinking I ovulated already. And she's like, don't say that. Don't say that. I said, I don't know. I'm just telling you how I feel. My body don't feel the same. So she started to try to find a way to cheer me up by telling me that maybe my body just got used to the pain, and that's probably why I'm not feeling it no more. I said, I don't know, but I just know I don't feel the same. And when I laid on the table and she started to insert the probe in me, I still had that same feeling that I felt the other day when she was inserting the probe. So I was kind of wondering, maybe I didn't ovulate, because it was still hard for her to get it in there. And the minute she got it in there, there was many follicles in there, so it was hard to think that I had ovulated. However, if you guys recall, the other day when they checked my follicles, I had 3 of them that had already jumped out there dominated. One was a size 20, one was a size 19, one was a size 16. The rest of them ranged from, I think, 7 to 14, something like that, 7 to 13 or something. But those 3 was already up there. When she went in me this morning, those 3 was not there. All of them was gone. And unless she tried to make sure I didn't see it. I do know that one of the ways to find out if you ovulate is to look for a collapsed follicle. But all she was showing me was the follicles that was still there. And she was saying how those follicles was the right size of what it should be for the day that I'm on. And what she liked about them was they all was the same size. You know, that's what they like, the follicles to be the same size. And I hit a lot more today than I did the other day. So she was happy about that, but she was saying that them other follicles, which were too large at that day, she said she think that they were either cysts or leftovers from my last cycle. Leftover follicle. So I went with that theory, especially the cyst theory, because I thought, well, if they were cysts could be a little bit painful, and if the cyst finally dissolved, that's why the pain went away. And I asked her, I said, well, what other way that they can tell if I did not ovulate on my own? And she was like, well, if you ovulated on your own, your estrogen level would decrease. And then we started talking about what the estrogen level should be. Estrogen should be 200, 200 IUs per follicle. So it depends on how many follicles you have. That can go all the way up into the thousands. So everybody, it's no set number. Every woman is different. It just really depends on your body. And they can't get too high, obviously, because then your body is overstimulated. But if they not at a certain amount, or if they start decreasing, that means that the eggs are either diminishing or you've already ovulated. So that put a thought in my head. Ever since I left that clinic, I just been thinking and waiting and thinking and waiting. I can't wait till these test results come in, because I really need to see what this estrogen level is going to be, so I can, you know, put my mind to rest that I did not ovulate yet. So before the test results had even came in, I got a call from the clinic, and when I answered, they hung up. So that gave me the opportunity to go check the portal, because I wasn't going to call them back. I said, uh-oh, something must be wrong, because they don't usually contact me unless something is wrong. And so I went and I checked the portal, and it showed that my test results was back. And of course, my follicles, they looked good. I had like 5 to 7 in one and 3 to 5 in the other, and they was all like 13, 14, 15. I may have had a couple that may have been like 7 and 11. And so I went and I looked at the estrogen. The estrogen was only 200 and some, when the other day it was 300 and some. So I just dropped, like, oh my God. So at that moment, I knew what that call was about. I was just waiting on that call to come back. So like 10 minutes later, the call came back, and it was the actual doctor. Now, the doctor don't never call me, but it was the actual doctor. And he called me to tell me that the estrogen level had dropped, which I didn't tell him. I had already saw the results. And he's saying that that size 20 follicle you had the other day is no longer there. And he said that we not 100% sure that you ovulated on your own, but we thinking that is what happened. He said they checked my progesterone, and right now my progesterone is at 2 point something. And if it gets to 4 point something, that means that I've already ovulated. So he wants me to continue the meds and come back tomorrow to see if the follicles mature, to see if the estrogen is steady falling, and to see if the progesterone is still rising. If all of those is happening, I've already ovulated, and he has to cancel this cycle. So naturally, I was so disappointed to hear that news. I'm not even mad. I'm just disappointed. And the reason why I'm disappointed is because don't nobody know your body better than yourself. And I have been telling them over and over and over that I have short cycles and I ovulate early. I remember the day I went in for my nurse's consult and she explained to me how the process go. My whole fear was the way you talking, I'm going to be ovulated on my own. By the time y'all get to this point, and you don't worry about it, we're going to give you medicine that's going to stop you from ovulating. I still don't think the medicine they gave me for the IUI stopped me from ovulating. And that's my statement, and I'm going to stick to it. And it's like they just totally disregard what I explained to them about my body. Now, I didn't even go to my first STIM appointment to day 6. Day 6 of my cycle. I usually ovulate anywhere between day 10, 11, and 12. When I take my ovulation tests, I usually get the happy face on day 9. This is already day 6, and that's the first day I went to my STIM. I started the medication the next day and did not return back until day 12 for my first ultrasound, and that's when they saw that size 20. But on day 11, which was the day before that first ultrasound, I had my cervical mucus, and I knew at that moment that ovulation was finna hit, because usually cervical mucus come about a day or two before I ovulate. And that was the same day they started me on, Tuesday, which was the next day. That's when they started me on the medicine to stop me from ovulating. I just really think that medicine came one day too late, maybe 2 or 3 days too late. But everything about my whole process was late. I don't understand, why would you make my first STIM appointment on day 6 when you know I'm an early ovulator? My STIM appointment should have been made on day 3. And then why would you wait all the way to day 12 to start me on medicine to stop my ovulation when you know I'm an early ovulator? It's like they totally disregarded my body and how my body works. So, according to the doctor, it still may not be too late. We won't know until tomorrow if we can continue on or not. It really depends on what, because he said he see the follicles that are in there, they are really good size, and they are at the size that they want them to be. But now it all depends. If I already ovulate, those follicles are not going to grow anymore. They're going to start to diminish. They're going to start to go down. And all my other blood work is going to start going the opposite direction. So I won't know till tomorrow if this cycle will be canceled or not. And you best believe I am going to be seriously disappointed. But yes, that's my story of the day. You guys enjoy the rest of your day. Bye.